There's a sense of anticipation here in Rome. This morning, the College of Cardinals met for the last time before voting begins, and people from around the world have come to find out who they will pick, including Canadians.
I do want a Catholic Italian Pope, though.
I want to see a Catholic church where I'm proud to be a member of, and that means that we're all loved and that we're all equal.
There were 133 cardinals from 71 countries voting, mostly selected by Francis himself, the most diverse ever, like this cardinal from Chile. He says he's grateful to be here and is excited to participate in the conclave. Austin Ivory wrote 2 biographies of Pope Francis.
And I think the world is looking for a peacemaker, a prophet, somebody who embodies, who's a friend of the poor, who is a prophetic sign of hope in a world which badly needs it.
But there is also a feeling of expectation, uncertainty.
I want to see action. We Indigenous people are done with words.
This residential school survivor says the next pope needs to do more for Indigenous people, including releasing archival records from that legacy.
Well, I want the pope that's going to be chosen to not have a record of any allegations of child sexual abuse. I want him to have a clean slate.
This Dene elder led a delegation from the Northwest Territories to the Vatican to meet with Francis in 2022 and ask for an apology for the harms the church caused.
He really was very compassionate.
Antoine is optimistic the next pope will, like Francis, be engaging.
Someone that could be able to work with our people.
And for a lot of people in Canada's north, Pope Francis did make a big impact.
So Juanita, I'm curious, there have been meetings all this week with the Cardinals. Is there any indication that some of the priorities that matter to Pope Francis will continue to be priorities for the church?
Yeah, the Vatican said the Cardinals held their last meeting earlier today, and a lot of the issues Pope Francis worked on, like the fight against abuse and a commitment to peace, are still deeply felt and shared. Adrienne?
All right, Juanita Taylor in Rome. Now, let's bring in CBC News' Vatican analyst, David Perlich. So, David, we know that the Cardinals will go under lock and key very soon. We don't have a clue what's about to happen in there in the Sistine Chapel, but I gather there can be a bit of a pattern to how the voting goes.
There certainly can. So you're not supposed to ever talk about what goes on in a conclave. You're not supposed to bring out numbers, but it happens. And over time, diaries have been published, things have been leaked to journalists, and Pope Francis actually put it in one of his autobiographies. So the way it tends to work, in the first ballot, you can expect 2 or 3, sometimes 4 candidates to get a lot of votes. Cardinals get a lot of votes. And then there are a large number of cardinals who'll get 2 or 3 or 4 votes. In the next ballot, the big question is, where do those smaller blocks of votes go? If they start moving all in one direction, then there's sort of an obvious front runner and somebody who could ride the wave to the 2/3 majority. But if they start to diffuse amongst the other candidates, and in a further vote that doesn't become more apparent and there is no obvious front runner, that's when you can certainly be in for a longer conclave.
And very briefly, I mean, in a few days when there is a new pope, presumably, what will he be facing?
I think primarily what we're hearing is the state of the world, the geopolitical situation, war, conflict, questions about borders, migrants, refugees. And then within the church itself, it's about Francis's legacy. It's about the notion of the synod and the inclusion of the laity into the Catholic Church in its decision-making process, which is controversial. And the new pope will have to deal with the legacy of that within the church.
Okay, David Perlich, thanks very much. Looking forward to being with you this week.
My pleasure.